Hello, I am Jim Marks and this is the Manfrotto Digital Director. What's it all about? Well, let's open the box and take a look. Power here, all the power ready to go. Fantastic. So, what is Digital Director? Well, if you have one of these, a Canon or a Nikon DSLR, and you have one of these, an iPad Air, it's the missing link. It's an interface that allows this to communicate with this. And in the next film, we'll find out how it does it. So how does it work? Well, it's an Apple certified product, which means it's got a proper lightning connector. So you slide your iPad Air in and lock it, just like so. And there's a microprocessor in here that connects via USB to your DSLR just here and allows it to control the camera. And when you power it, you can put mains in here, and when you do that, it also charges your iPad. And when you're on location, you've got double A's in here, and they last for a whole 15 hours, so easily enough for a full day's shooting. So let's put it all together and see how it works. Right, so USB in the back, nice and simple, and then we're going to line that up on there and just screw that in. So you've got a nice firm purchase on the tripod. And I'm going to run the USB round here, straight into the camera. That's lovely, fantastic. Then I'm going to make sure my lock's up, bring up my iPad Air, slide that in like so, nice and tightly into the lightning connector, and then lock it safely down in there. And then I'm going to turn on my digital director there, fantastic, turn on my iPad and turn on my camera, and then I'm going to launch my app. So one of the cleverest things about the Digital Director and the iPad is that it swaps orientation depending on whether you turn the camera or whether you turn the iPad itself. So here you've got all your settings, your picture, your histogram, but if I want to put the iPad into a portrait mode, all I do is just turn the back bracket, spin it round, and as you can see, as I do that, everything moves around with it. So the picture moves and all the controls go up the side. And in the next example, as you can see, here we're doing a portrait outside. And if you know, if I just turn the camera, the image moves around with it. It's fantastic. And then you're ready to shoot in the portrait mode. So you're about to start your job on the Digital Director, but it's worth just stopping for a second and remembering this is not a monitor, this is an iPad. And because of the app, you can collate, organize, and plan your jobs and your albums. You can then show them to your client or to your family. You can star the ones you like. And then of course, because it's an iPad, you can send them and deliver the job straight away. So to show you how simple this is, hit the settings wheel, bottom right. And as you can see, we've got jobs, connection profiles, shooting profiles, and albums. Jump into connection profiles, which is my one. You can see this allows you to send images from the iPad. It's got my name, my URL, my username, and my password, and you can change that as well. And then if I say jump into albums, you want to create a new one, just hit a plus up here. There we go, and let's call it, I don't know, test 2. So here's a quick one here. There we go, hit OK, and there it is. And if you want to get rid of it, just swipe that way and hit the delete button. Really, really easy, there you go. And if I jump into jobs, you'll see under the job, all the albums subdivided and the shooting profile. And if I go into shooting profiles, jump into here, I'm using a Canon 7D Mark II here. Have a look at that. You can see all the metadata from the shot, the focal length, the ISO, the aperture, etc. And I can add some notes as well as I need to. So all the information that you could possibly need for a shoot. To help speed things up for you, I'm just going to run through the control settings on the Digital Director. To start, let me show you the battery life indicator on the bottom left. If I push here, you'll see it brings up all 3 devices. There's the camera, the Digital Director, and the iPad, so you can see the levels for each device. And then next to that, you'll see the drive mode. It's currently in single shot, which means I can take a single picture. But if I want to do multiple shots, I just change here and listen to this. There you go, lots and lots of pictures. And just above that, moving along, is the white balance controller. I can push that. Obviously I can have it on auto, or I can manually pick, and let's pick a wrong one so you can just see how blue that is there. And then if I jump back out of here, I shall go back to daylight, which is obviously 5600, and we go back there we go, fantastic. And next to that, you've got the histogram to show your exposure in detail. And next to that, you've got all the camera controls here on this right pillar. Now these are all lockable with a little, you can see the little padlock symbol. So if I unlock them, it means I can change them. And you've got ISO at the top, shutter speed and aperture, and then a focus slider, and of course focus peaking, which I'll just push there. And you can see that makes the thing in focus go orange to aid focusing. I'll pop that off there. And I'll just show you how those sliders work, how in real time they change your exposure. If I just slide the ISO down, you can see the change. And let's just open it up a bit and drop the shutter speed just to bring my exposure into a nicer spot. When you've got a digital director, you're no longer stuck with the small screen on the back of your camera. And the biggest plus, it means you can focus properly. And the digital director offers some very interesting focus features that I'm going to run through now. So how does this help with focus? Well, I've already got a bigger screen. And if I use this plus button here, I can zoom right in and I can check my critical focus, which is really, really amazing actually to be able to see in that closely. And then if I was to zoom out, just like so, and say hit a button over there on infinity, you'll notice that the camera automatically moves to infinity using the auto settings there, which again is a unique feature. Now, if, for instance, you were doing film and you had a manual follow focus, if you hit this button and go to a big screen, you've suddenly got an amazing monitor to pull focus on if, say, you've got manual follow focus. As an extra field test, here we are in Richmond Park, and if you just notice, I'll push on the screen to check critical focus on the deer's head. That's lovely, fantastic. And also I'll just pull focus to infinity again just to show you how that works manually. Here's a few tips on how to customize the screen on the digital director to really make the most of it. Now, to customize this or make this home screen my own and more user-friendly, I hit the expand button, which gives me the nice big view. And you'll notice I can still see my audio levels as well. And then I've got like a menu button that I can move around and actually position wherever I want to put it, wherever I think is a good place. You'll also notice it has two other options. It's got histogram, which again, I can move about. And it's got camera settings just here on the left. And as you can see, you've still got your ISO, your shutter speed and your aperture, and it still works as a control, so you can still dial in and dial up whatever you need. Really, really useful. So I'm very quickly going to run through the video controls on this device to show you how it makes shooting video on small cameras so much more enjoyable and easy to do. If I go through the screen left to right, as you can see bottom left, you've got your audio, which is really important to have so you know you're recording, you can see your levels. In fact, you can see me speaking there, which is great. And then moving across, just above it, you've got your video quality, the size and the frame rate. And then next to it, you've got the histogram. And then on the right hand side here, you've got your start stop. And when you actually record, as you can see, it flashes at you, so you know you're turning on camera. So if you can't see the back of the camera, it's not an issue. And to check focus while you're doing video, you've got focus peaking just here, as you can see by the red. And above, you can also see your aperture, your shutter, and your ISO. So those are sort of brief overrun of all the features on the back of the iPad for video. When you've finished your shoot, here's the way that Digital Director can help you edit your images. So you've come to the end of your shoot, and this is where Digital Director really completes your workflow. If you see the film icon canister just here, if you hit that, it takes you into the gallery. And here you've got your albums, and here you've got a filter of star system if you like. And you can see all the images you've taken of that particular subject. And you can say, select one. So I was going to select this one, downloads it off the card. And I'm going to star it. I'm going to say it's a 3-star image. So I know that's a 3-star image. And then perhaps I want to edit it. So I'll go up here and I'll look at my histogram so I can see my exposure and check my exposure. And I think this image needs a crop. So I'll just jump into crop and I can move that around really easily, kind of recompose. So we do it kind of like that. That's kind of a bit of fun. I'm going to hit crop. So there it is, cropped. And then I might want to alter the exposure a little bit. So I can go into here and I can lighten or I can darken. I'm going to put it about there. And maybe the contrast, maybe get a bit more punch, something like that, just for a bit of fun. And then I'm going to hit save, and that saved it. And then I can share it also with the bottom left here. I can share it via FTP, via email, or I can save it to the camera roll. And finally, if I go back to gallery, you can then look at all the images that you've starred, so you can then look at your favorites. The idea is to speed up the editing process and really complete your workflow.